Some of the biggest hurdles that I had to overcome in real estate investment with me, your host, Lakeith Fowler. One of the biggest hurdles that I had to get over was funding. So I tell you a little bit about the very first deal that I did that I took a loan out. It was in DeSoto. I believe the address was 628 Priscilla. And I ran into a lender, a hard money lender, and he lent me, obviously you have to originate the loan. Once you originate the loan for not only the loan amount, but for the rehab budget as well. When I did that, he never gave me any money he never gave me a draw for the rehab. He said, Lakeith, send the pictures, do this, do that. I followed the directions, but he never gave me any money. So I'll tell you all about the story. And it worked out very wildly for me. And the only reason why I was able to finish the project was because I had my own money. And I had to go in my own pocket and basically cover all rehab expenses for myself because he never gave me a draw for them. Not only that, I didn't really know much about how the money worked, so on and so forth, with taking it from a lender because, like I said, it was my first time doing it. And obviously in real estate and in real estate investments, you're in it to make money. So understanding how the money worked is key. It's very key. So that was one of the biggest hurdles that I had to get over. And not only that, once I got past that particular experience, there were several more experiences, again, with funding. I went with another lender on my second project, and they wanted like 3 months interest-only payments down in order to do a new construction property. That's a lot of money to give somebody when you're new in the game, you don't really understand a lot of things, and you don't understand how the money's working. I do have another video about overcoming certain situations in real estate. Just make sure you click the link and subscribe to my YouTube channel, but also watch some of the more previous videos because I wasn't always as fluid with taking loans as I am now. Originally when I started, and I feel like that's a big hurdle that a lot of people come in contact with because obviously you're put in a situation where now you have to find a house. Once you find a house, you have to rehabilitate this home. And not only that, you got to find a good crew. And once you take a loan out, you're on the clock and you got to make monthly payments, not only for your utilities, but you got to make monthly payments to the lender as well. And having the right lender in place, I believe, is one of the biggest challenges because a lot of people giving money away, but sometimes these people don't necessarily want you to win. In my eyes, sometimes they might want to take your deal, so they move a little slow with the money, and moving slow with the money, you're on the clock. So every situation that comes about that hinders you from getting from point A to point B to point C to point D, it's costing you. You're on the ticker, you're paying for this money every day, every second. And it's costing you something. So if you really don't know how money works, I would encourage you to educate yourself. I actually have a previous YouTube video about this, about how to retire with an all-pro athlete contract. I would encourage you to watch that video. I've also done videos on time management as far as time ownership, Lakeith's Mamba mentality. It's one of my older videos. I would appreciate it if you would watch that. But definitely, who you get your money from in order to do what it is that you need to do to sell property. Because if you and your lender aren't on the same page, it can hinder you a lot because they take money for sending you money. So when they give you draws, some people might charge $100, $150 per draw just to get you what you need in order for you to do what you need to do. And you thinking, oh, well, I asked for $10,000, but I only got $9,850. It's because they took $150 out to send you your money. And not only will they charge you money to send you your money, but the bank that you bank with will charge you for incoming wires. So you really got to pay attention to how the money flows, man. And if you don't know how it's going, the way it should be going, and have a process of what your next step will be and when you plan on getting it done, it can really jam you up, and a good deal can potentially turn bad. So that's why I encourage you to be very much so on the same page with whoever you're getting the money from, whatever lender that you're dealing with. But not only that, that's only one side that's a bridge loan. So that's the first part of the game. But then let's say you want to keep the property. You have to go with the back end lender. I didn't know anything about that when I started either, but I had to educate myself on the 30-year fixed and the 3, 5, 7, 10-year ARMs, adjustable mortgage rates. Who's giving the best rate? Who's giving out the highest loan to value? All of that plays a factor when you're dealing with real estate. All of that plays a factor when you're dealing with money and time and assets and trying to create an asset. You have to work as a cohesive machine. And if you're not cohesive in what it is that you're doing, you could spend a lot of money wasting a lot of time, and it might encourage you not to do it again. But if you have someone that's willing to give you a loan in the first place, let's make this understood, that you do have a good deal, but if you take too long to get that good deal on the market and then to sell it, a good deal could potentially turn into a bad deal. So knowing the numbers is very key in anything you do in real estate investment, because without knowing them, what do you know? If you're not focused on the bottom line, I don't want you to waste your time. So finding a good lender, I feel like, is very key to real estate investments. Is one of the biggest hurdles that I had to overcome. And once I did, I just stick with this person. Me and my lender have a very good relationship. I get Maverick tickets, front row, next to Cuban, you know what I mean? But these are perks of the game after successfully doing so many transactions with this individual and never being late on the interest payment. That's another big thing. Making sure you pay on time for all your bills, just no different than where you live. You never want to go over whatever days, the grace period that they give you allotted to pay them back, or to pay them whatever it is that you owe them on a monthly basis, or whatever the frequency is that you decide on to make these payments back. You should definitely be paying on time, because these people they're in your corner. They don't want to take it from you, but they will, if you leave them no choice. And just find somebody and just tell them straight up, hey, this is my first time, second time. What is it that I should know about how you do business? I think, honestly, with communication is the key to finding a good lender. Letting them know everything up front, how you do things, the way you do things, how you like to do things, how you would like this transaction to go. Because if you don't know, I don't want to see a good deal turn bad. So finding a lender was very big for me, and I'm sure it'll be big for you if you don't find one. I used to worry a lot about interest rates on the bridge loan. So some lenders out here give money away for 10%, 11%, 12%. But once you really look at this on the amortization table and you really look at the difference between what you're paying for 10%, 11%, 12%, it's really only about $50. Like, don't sweat it trying to get the cheapest. Well, I'm not gonna say don't on a 30-year fix, but on a short-term deal, it's not gonna make that big of a difference. But don't just take my word for it. Actually look at it on an amortization table. If you have a Android or iPhone, I have an iPhone, so I just download a loan app and look at it all before I start. And if you look at it, the difference between half a point is not significant enough to make a life-changing decision. Now, the origination fees, that's where it can come into place, because you're paying for the entire loan. So knowing the money, knowing how to use the money, using it fluidly, and paying on time, and understanding how to go from one loan to the next loan if you're planning on keeping this property, I feel a real key in any transaction. Knowing the lender. You and the lender having a good relationship will make your real estate investment life a whole lot easier, man. That's from me, Lakeith. Lakeith buys houses and land. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would suggest that you do so right now, and also follow me on all social media platforms, Lakeith, because Lakeith buys houses and land. Thank you.